Welcome back to On the Wild, episode number 43. I'm ANUJ. With me, as always, Riley Keenan. Coming off a pretty tough week on both ends here. Falcons got destroyed by Dallas.
Browns got destroyed by the Patriots.
But you're coming off a tough week, especially because you also lost in fantasy for the first time. You're now 9-1.
Brutal. Right after I posted that TikTok, too. I tried to jump on the trend. I look bad. It was my own fault. I didn't start Kittle. I started Knox, and then I started the Buccaneers defense over the Patriots, so that was pretty dumb. I lost by 2 because of a field goal from Matt Gay that shouldn't have even been kicked because the Rams should have scored, but Stafford got sacked. So,
Tough.
I shot myself in the foot. It's disappointing, but we're 9-1, so we're fine.
It is what it is. I mean, you're still first place by a mile here. So.
Hey, as long as it doesn't do what happened last year. I was first place last year, and Lyndon has Kamara put up 6 touchdowns, and Devontae Adams put up 3. Funny. So it can't get worse. I think we're okay. But
focusing on the Browns specifically, tough loss obviously to the Patriots. And the questions coming up on Baker Mayfield, if he really is that guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in his 4th year. Now he's had 2 good years. His first year and his 3rd year last year.
Yeah.
Second year was tough. This year's been kind of up and down. And he, either this offseason or next offseason, he may be offered a contract extension by Cleveland. As a Browns fan, do you think he deserves that? Or if he does, how much?
I think he deserves a contract because I do believe he is the franchise quarterback. He's done the best out of anybody in the last 20 years. But he's also been given the best roster on field. And, it's said a lot. No one's ever done less with more than Baker Mayfield. And to an extent, I do agree with that. I think it's been a tough road. Obviously, everyone knows about the coaching changes and whatnot. He's going through a lot of injuries right now, but it doesn't really affect his throwing arm. I think he deserves a contract. I don't think he should be getting big money. I think like $20 million is where I'd.
$20 million? That's like backup quarterback.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I would put him like $25-30 million, I guess. Does he deserve it? Yeah, because I think he can, kind of lead the Browns to the playoffs. But at the same time, he's struggling so much right now, and it just doesn't look like a system that's coming together. And I think defense was a big reason why they lost that game, but they couldn't score. They couldn't produce points.
Yeah.
So. Right now, I'm up in the air about it. I think there's still what I'm looking at is maybe a sign and trade because I think
sign and trades don't really happen in the NFL just because in the NBA it happens a lot just because you have to match salaries.
Right.
But in the NFL, you don't have to. It's just a matter of the team that you're trading the player to has cap space.
Yeah, I think as much as I'd love to say maybe Aaron Rodgers is a possibility, there's no chance. But I've been thinking about it, and it's a reach, but maybe a trade with the Seahawks to get Russell Wilson. I could see it because he's not in the happiest form right now. Pete Carroll has not been, coaching his best football of late.
And they really just don't have a good team.
Yeah, they don't. They have a pretty good receiving core. The running back is solid, but they've had a lot of injury problems, and they're not all there.
They don't have draft capital either because of the Jamal Adams trade.
Exactly. So I could see it, and it would work really well for the Browns. Obviously, you get one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but I think it would work kind of well for the Seahawks too, because Baker's a guy that's he's not too far off from Russell in a sense of how he plays. Obviously, he's nowhere near as good.
Yeah, obviously.
But both smaller guys that can get out of the pocket, push the ball downfield, but. Yeah, I think it's really tough. I don't know. What do you think of this situation? On the outside looking in, I guess.
I think that, like you said, he's done better than any other quarterback has done in a long time. I don't even remember the last time they had a quarterback that lasted more than 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He led them to the playoffs last year, as many people want to give credit to everybody else. He did his job.
Yeah.
And QBR-wise, PFF-wise, he was ranked the 4th best quarterback after Week 5 last year. So you can't really take away from what he did last year, but this year he's been very inconsistent.
Yeah.
And now you have 2 really good years and 2 really not so good years.
Yeah.
And now I think this is going to turn into a Kirk Cousins situation where they're not going to give him an extension this year. They're going to let him play it out next year, and he'll play good enough, but not good enough to where you know for sure that he's your guy. Yeah. He's in the upper echelon of quarterbacks, but he'll convince them enough to where they'll give him another year with a franchise tag.
Yeah.
And then it gets ugly.
Yeah,
from there.
Then it's wishy-washy.
Franchise tags, they never end well. Like, very rarely. Like, Dak is, like, the only situation where I can think of where the franchise tag actually
benefited everybody, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, no, I like that Kirk Cousins comparison too. Kind of like the Vikings and the Browns as well. Like, they're both teams that have a lot of promise, but week by week, you really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And, with Kirk, obviously he's had his trouble with prime time, but he shows up a lot. And he'll have a huge game, maybe not in the primetime the slot, but he'll have a lot of big games. Like, Baker has shown a ton of promise this year against the Chargers, against the Chiefs. He's had really good games. Against the Bengals, he balled out. That was a game that was the biggest game of his career. And he played.
Bengals?
Yeah, I think just because it was coming off of that OBJ week, there was a lot of, negative connotations on the narrative, and he balled out. He played the way he needed to. And then a week after against the Patriots, he threw for 73 yards.
The thing I'm finding with Baker is that, like, he needs a lot of things around him to succeed. But at the same time, he's better without Odell Beckham. He's a very weird player in that sense, where, like, he doesn't need a star receiver, but he needs a lot of good players around him.
Yeah, he needs to be able to spread the ball around field, and in order to do that, a lot of guys have to be going. And if Landry and Higgins are going to have one of those games where they're just dropping balls, it's not going to happen. But there have been games where they've been making huge plays, after catching the ball too, getting yards downfield, and Baker has been the guy that hasn't shown up. It's really a week by week thing. Like, against the Bengals they play incredible, against the Patriots they play brutal. They play the Lions next week. I think they're going to have a great game because Baker's coming off a loss, and he's one of the better guys in the league of getting the chip on his shoulder and going, I'm not going to lose again. But then I think when he gets the confidence in terms of, we just had a big win, then he kind of loses it because he loses that chip on his shoulder. So there's a problem there, and I think that has to do with some coaching. They got to help him out, but something mentally just has to click for him to just play consistent.
The way I look at quarterbacks is, like, you either win because of them, win with them, or win despite them.
Yeah.
So I think you can win with Baker Mayfield, but you're not going to win because of Baker Mayfield.
Exactly.
You win because of Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, but you don't win because of Baker Mayfield. Very rarely do you.
Yeah.
He's kind of in a sense where, like, Kirk Cousins, him, players like that, where you can win with them, but a lot of times you have to try to win despite them.
Exactly.
That inconsistency is always there.
I don't think the Browns have ever won in spite of Baker. I don't think he's ever had a horrible performance and they've still pulled off the win. But I think, like, you look at that win against the Steelers in the wild card last year. They were firing on all cylinders. The defense was a huge reason why they won. The running game was solid. Well, more than solid. But Baker didn't make any mistakes. He was able to get 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. I can't really remember, but he didn't make any mistakes throughout the game. As long as he can be a game manager, he's going to be great. And he has limited the errors a lot this year. He's only thrown 4 interceptions, and he's fumbled a couple times. But that was one of them was because of the shoulder, one because of the knee. But he's been unlucky in terms of injuries there. But I think he can have the opportunity to really bring this Browns team to a championship. I don't think he'll be the reason, like you said, but I don't think it's over. And moving on from him just now, like, people saying start Case Keenum, I don't agree with that. Like,
oh no,
because obviously Keenum, against the Broncos, it's a good win, but they simplified the game plan because it's a guy who's coming into the system. You simplify everything and it makes the game a lot easier. When you got Baker there, you're making it a bit more complicated, making bigger plays, making trick plays. I still think Baker is the guy, but contract wise, I wouldn't throw one at him until a lot less time in the year. And
yeah, he still needs to prove himself.
And it sucks because the Browns, by not giving him that contract, it shows that they don't necessarily have that faith in him. And I think we already know that based on just the amount of times he's actually throwing the ball.
I don't think they offered him a contract in the offseason just because of that like the inconsistency that I was talking about. His first year he was great.
Yeah.
Second year, not so good, and then obviously last year he was great. Another thing is though that, like, is it expectations? Because, like, his first year, yeah, you're the number 1 overall pick, but you're
coming into a 1-15 team.
Yeah, you don't really have. You're not expecting much.
Yeah.
Second year, coming off a great rookie year, you get Odell Beckham. You get. Was Kareem Hunt there that year?
They got Kareem Hunt, yeah, and they.
Oh no, he was suspended.
No, yeah, he was suspended.
He came back.
They had Chubb was like the guy, like, okay, he had a good rookie year, he's going to be good.
They had high expectations. A lot of people were saying Super Bowl in his second year.
Which is way too early.
Yeah, huge jump. And they flopped.
Yeah.
Last year,
it was like they thought they could be a playoff team. There wasn't high expectations because of how bad he played.
Yeah, and then obviously what happened last year, winning a playoff game, taking the Chiefs to the wire, that heightens the expectations for this year. I mean, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean, and you look at what they did, like managerial wise, like Barry did an incredible job of filling every need. Like the defense is sound, and obviously they've been the reason why they've lost a couple of the games, but they've been the reason they've won a lot of them. The game against the Vikings, the game against the Bears, that was defense. So, I mean, everything's there, and I think the team really just has to be firing on all cylinders. Like everyone has to be going, everyone has to be doing their job. We know the offensive line is always going to come to play, so it's just a matter of just picking apart the defense. Because, like, the Patriots game, I said it last week, like, it's going to be extremely telling. But you knew Belichick, he feeds off of average quarterbacks. And then that game, he made Baker look below average.
I'd say Baker's above average. I wouldn't say he's average.
I would agree, but I think when you're playing a playoff coach like a Belichick or a McDermott or, even an Andy Reid, I wouldn't say it as much this year because he did perform really well against them. But when you're playing against one of these big playoff quarterbacks that's had a lot of success, or coaches, sorry, you're not going to get a lot of opportunity because they're going to zero in on your problems and your weaknesses, and that's exactly what they did. And he showed that he didn't come to play.
He had a great opening drive.
Yeah,
against New England, and then they threw the pick, and it just kind of went all downhill from there.
Yeah, he's very based off of the last drive, and he came out firing, and then they had the run. And what my problem was, they stopped running the ball in that second quarter. D'Ernest Johnson's done a great job all year and in his career. Every time he's got an opportunity, he's done great. And they just didn't run the ball. And then they finally did in the fourth quarter and gave him a bit more opportunity. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see against the Lions. If they lose that game, I'm going to just...
You're done.
I'm done, man.
I mean, that's how I feel about tonight. Like, obviously, this is going to be out after the game. But, yeah, the Falcons play the Patriots tonight. Not expecting anything. You're playing Belichick on a short week with a first-time head coach. They're losing tonight. If they somehow pull it out,
it's impressive.
Yeah,
it's extremely impressive.
I'm gonna throw a party next week.
Oh yeah.
But moving to Odell, because we missed Odell by about 3 hours last week. We obviously had Pac and Coburn on last week, and we talked about Odell. We talked about the Packers, Saints. I think Pac brought up the Patriots.
Yeah, I brought up the Chiefs. And he went to the Rams.
Yeah, literally 3 hours after we recorded that episode. I remember when they first released him, or when the trade rumors started. I remember telling my dad, maybe L.A., just because he lives there.
Yeah.
I never thought it was a serious thing.
I only thought of it because I was like, there's so many guys already going there. They got a good receiving core. Stafford's playing great. It's his home. It makes sense. But I never really thought it would happen, like you said, because it seemed like there was better fits.
And they never were talked about. It was, when he was on waivers, it was the Seahawks because they had priority. You had the Saints, who was the other teams? Packers and Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then another thing, they said he was going to sign after last week.
Yeah, they said he was going to sign on the Sunday. So we were like, we got time. Yeah, we're like, we'll talk about it.
But he ended up signing on the Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Which you kind of saw, in retrospect, you saw coming with the Ramsey tweet.
Yeah, I remember you sent it in a little group chat we made with Pac and Coburn, for the episode.
Yeah.
But, Ramsey tweeted, a couple hours before, the same tweet that he sent out before they got Von Miller.
Yeah. Should have saw it coming.
Yeah, and people just thought he was trolling.
Yeah, I thought he was trolling. I was like, yeah, okay, you're going to get OJ too. Sure. Yeah.
And then
he did. But I feel less bad. When it first happened, I was pissed because it was like you had to go to the Rams. You had to make them better. But with Woods getting hurt and obviously Akers has been out, it helps them a lot more now.
That acquisition's turned into
a fair deal.
Fair
trade.
Them filling a need.
Yeah. Lost some friends. They found some peace. I don't know if OJ's peace. I don't know. We'll see. I think he had a good debut. He was only on the field for 15 out of 55 drives.
Don't blame him for that game.
I couldn't believe that.
People are blaming him for them losing to the 49ers when he played 15 snaps.
Yeah, the guy barely knows the system yet. Barely. Come on. He looked good, and it wasn't his fault, that pick, either.
He's going up the sideline. Stafford throws it to, the middle of the field where the safety is. I would say it's more on Stafford, but it's really just them not knowing each other.
Yeah, they don't have that communication yet.
He just got there 3 days prior, so you can't really... First of all, Stafford shouldn't have thrown that ball regardless. You just, throw it away or whatever. But, another thing, I feel like we jinxed the Rams.
Oh, we did. We had a bad last 2 weeks in terms of timing.
When Von Miller signed with the Rams, we were on here talking about, like, they're unbeatable. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're not getting past them. They're unstoppable.
Lose 2 straight.
In convincing fashion.
Yeah.
So
I felt like the exact same way, too. Like, the interception led to a touchdown and a pick six on the next possession. Go down 14 early, and you just never come back from it. Put yourself in an early hole.
And this could not, the bye week could not have come at a better time.
Oh yeah,
like they're going to be practicing.
Figure it out.
Yeah, they're going to be practicing all week and just figuring out every little aspect of their offense and just narrowing in on the defense. And I think it is a bit of like the idea in their minds that like we got all these dogs on our team and we're just going to go out and ball every night. But I think they've lost some of that intensity that they have because they have so many of these guys. They have so much faith in themselves, and then the narrative is pushing them so hard. Even us, we're saying like, oh, they're going to be this incredible team. They're going to be unstoppable.
Because they watch this show every week.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. That's where those 40 views are. That team. But yeah, like
all 50.
Yeah, all 52 guys. But yeah, like I think
at McVay's desk.
Yeah, that's right after the film session. But yeah, like I almost relate them to the Leafs a bit in terms of like they have so many like big names on their roster, and every year they're thinking they're going to be one of those teams that's going to win it, and they get in over their shoulders and they get overhyped. And I don't think we're overhyping the Rams. I just think that they haven't come together just yet.
Because if you look at they have one of the best rosters in the NFL. That's without question. They also have a great coaching staff.
Yeah.
McVay is proven to be one of the greatest, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL right now, and he'll probably go down as one of the best once he's done.
Yeah.
And defensively, they lost Brandon Staley to the Chargers, but they still have. They didn't hire from anybody from outside. They kept it in the building. I don't get why their defense is as bad as they are right now.
Yeah.
Like they lost players. They lost John Johnson and Troy Hill to Cleveland. But they still have Aaron Donald. They still have Leonard Floyd. You have Ramsey. And those guys are playing fine. You added Von Miller, who will catch up. But I don't know what's happening with the Rams. I think it is like what you said. Like I think they just have so much confidence in themselves that they're they're
playing down to their opponents.
Yeah. They're overconfident.
Do you think it's maybe to the roles of these guys of that Von Miller has to take a step back in his role where he's never had to do that before and it kind of goes throughout the defense?
I don't think if this was basketball, yeah. But in football,
it's not.
It's a different. Everybody has their own assignments on every play. Yeah. So Aaron Donald and Von Miller aren't doing the same thing like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook are doing. It's very different. So I don't think it's that. I think it's just a matter of them just I don't know what it is really because they have everything going for them. They're just in a mid-season slump.
Yeah, I think it's just coming out and being ready to compete and knowing that you are that top dog.
After the bye, they go to Green Bay. So
that's going to be a huge test.
I can't wait for that game. That's going to be a great game.
Like right now, I look at Green Bay as that top team in the NFC.
Yeah.
I think I don't think by the end of the year they'll be the team that I see going to the Super Bowl, but the way they're playing, the way their defense looks right now, I don't think they're unbeatable, but it's every game I think it's going to be extremely tough in that building. And then when they're on the road, I almost have more confidence in them on the road.
Really?
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to say it because I've lost a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers with the I'm immunized thing.
It was whack. It was a whack move.
Yeah, he may not have lied, but he deceived the public. Right. But we're not going to get into that. In terms of the best team in the NFC, I would probably have to say either Packers. Yeah, I'm going to go Packers. He's won 7 straight starts ever since the disaster of
game 1.
That was week 1.
Yeah.
They obviously lost with Jordan Love to Kansas City. And even in that game, if Rodgers plays,
I think
they definitely win that game just because of how low scoring it was. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Packers. Their defense has picked it up. Devondre Campbell has come out of nowhere, former Falcon. Was not this good now.
It was no.
He was not. And even last year in Arizona, he was not this good.
Levels better.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There's just some different confidence in him right now.
I don't know what they're teaching him in Green Bay, but it's working. Jair Alexander's not even there right now. I don't know if he's coming back, but they're losing some key defenders. I think Rashawn Gary's out right now too. So they have a lot going for them. If they got Odell,
that's where I thought.
I think what Coburn was saying last week, if they got Odell, So and now I'm starting to agree with that.
Yeah, in the moment I was like,
obviously it's not going to happen because he's in LA now. But
in the moment I was kind of like, I guess I think the Chiefs maybe would be better with him. But no, like thinking in retrospect, like Coburn was definitely right. Like you put OBJ on that team and they're unstoppable. I love AJ Dillon too. He's so good, and I want Aaron Jones back, but like
he's about to get his chance now.
Yeah, I love seeing AJ Dillon as the number one guy.
Yeah, and I don't want to count out Tampa Bay either, even though they're coming off 2 rough losses too to New Orleans and Washington.
I think when I look at it right now, I see because the Cowboys are there too.
I see Packers, Rams, Cardinals too.
That's the thing. I'm not sold on the Cardinals. Obviously, they've got McCoy right now, and I think hopefully Kyler's coming back.
I think he's coming back this weekend.
I said it at the beginning of the year. I thought they were going to be the worst team in the division. I thought they were going to be above 500, but I thought they were going to be the worst team in the division because I expected more from the 49ers, and I didn't anticipate.
I think you talked me into them. Yeah,
my bad. But yeah, like I think they have a lot going for them, but I just don't necessarily know if they're ready yet to compete with those.
That's
other
fair
teams.
Because they have a younger team.
Yeah,
and an inexperienced coach.
Yeah, and yeah, like you got a third-year quarterback there who has dealt with injuries in back-to-back years now, where he's going to have to get to a point where he was balling out at the beginning of the year and he looked like he could be an MVP. He needs to get back into that form and that consistency.
I would give them a shot against the Rams in the playoffs, but if you get Cardinals Bucks, I can't pick the Cardinals over the Bucks.
Exactly.
Or even the Packers, unless it's an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, the way I look
what
at
a joke that was.
Yeah, the way I look at it right now, and if the Rams are to play the way they are for the rest of the year,
right.
Let's say we're looking at it right now, I think the Packers are my number one.
Yeah,
but I think the Buccaneers beat the Packers if they were to play. Like I would take the Packers over everybody except for the Buccaneers. I just feel like that matchup.
The Bucks match up well with every team in the NFC. I'll give them that. Especially if they get their corners back. I think Murphy Bunting, I don't know if he's back yet or not, but Carlton Davis still has to come back.
Yeah.
Once they're back and healthy, Antonio Brown too, like they'll don't count them out.
Don't count them out. Because also like the running game has been so much better than in years past. Like Fournette is getting a lot more opportunity, and he's playing like he was like that second year with the Jaguars when it looked like he could be a top 5 back in the league. It's hard to bet against.
And then you have the Cowboys too, which they have a great offense and now keep you in games.
Yeah, we don't. I don't talk about the Cowboys enough. Like they are so good, and obviously that loss against the Broncos was tough, but that bounce back game this week was huge. Dak is a guy that you can trust, and he's going to be there for a long time. And Zeke has had a huge comeback year. He's been one of the best running backs in the league easily. And then you got Pollard there, who could be a number 1 running back on another team.
You have Cooper, Lamb, Gallup just came back. Dalton Schultz has been good this year.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a great offense. Tyron Smith has to come back. He's injured right now.
Yeah, and they haven't even had DeMarcus Lawrence for the year yet.
For a long time. Yeah.
So
and Randy Gregory's injured right now, but he's been great this year.
So like the NFC, like we talk about the AFC being wide open, but the NFC is completely wide open as well. It's very top heavy, but it's anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
I mean, I said it last week. This is the most interesting season there's been in a long time, and we say this every year, but this year especially,
it is.
I don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah,
not that we knew last year, but we had an idea.
Yeah,
like we knew the Chiefs were gonna be there at the end, whether they won or not. That's and the Bucks. After they got on a run, you kind of saw it coming in a way.
Yeah.
Even though some people picked up against them, but like this year it's wide open. I would not be surprised if we got like a Cowboys Chargers Super Bowl somehow. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
That'd be awesome. Like it feels like the NBA last year, when it was just completely wide open. You really didn't know who was going to win, and you get a Bucks Suns final, which is just very refreshing, and at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the way I look at the NFC is just. There's so many teams from the bottom up that I feel like that can make a run. Like, and every team has looked human in a way. There's, every year
team's had a bad loss.
Yeah, like obviously, in the past, like Chiefs, they go 14-2 or they go 13-3. They get a couple losses, but they don't get embarrassed. Every team has been embarrassed. I feel like at least once this year, whether it was week 1, whether it was last week or whatever. Every team has had a moment of just like we need to. Go back to the drawing board.
No one's unbeatable. No one's afraid of anybody.
Yeah. It's going to be an incredible playoffs and an incredible rest of the year. I like the fact that they have the extra game now too. I mean, it kind of messes with the records. I don't really like that, but
yeah,
I've never been.
That extra week just makes the season feel so much longer. I don't know why.
It does. It really does.
It's only 1 week, but I feel like the season's gone is a lot longer now, but it's not.
I like the fact that they have an extra game, but something about 17 games, I don't like that. 16 was a good number.
It's an odd number.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's more football. I don't care.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though, before we move on. Would you want an 8 seeds on either side, or would you want to keep it 6, or do you like the 7?
So if you do 8 teams, you can't do
the buys.
Yeah, and I like.
Yeah, I like the idea
I like the idea of finishing first actually gets you something. Mm-hmm. Like in the NBA, you get to play the worst team, but you don't really gain anything.
Yeah, you don't have much of an advantage aside from home court.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you have a disadvantage if you're the first seed because you don't know who you're playing until like the last day.
Yeah, exactly. I think there is a disadvantage there in the NFL where you don't know who you're going to play, but also you're getting a week off, and the week off is good for rest and getting guys back into the lineup. But you're missing a game where you're building on your team. You can only do so much in practice. But yeah, no, I agree. I think I like 7. I like 7 because
I honestly don't like the 7. I wish they just stuck with 6. I like the top 2 seeds getting a bye, but then again, it's just what I grew up with. So obviously, it's gonna be what I like. But
I think I would have. I think I like 6, but because I'm a Browns fan,
you don't like 7 until your team's the 7 seed.
Exactly. Like last year, it was like I needed 7. I needed 7 because there was the Dolphins didn't make the playoffs and they absolutely deserved to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 7. I like 7 as a good round number because the number 1 team is the team that's like, okay, they get the advantage. Number 2 still got to play.
Yeah.
I take it. Yeah, I agree. I think 8 would be too much.
Yeah. Because then if you do 8, then you have to add in another round.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
I think so. Yeah. I guess you wouldn't call it the wild card anymore. It would just be the.
Well, unless you give the top 2 teams a bye, and then you have.
But then it would be 3, so it'd be 5. Then they get another bye.
Let's keep it at 7.
Yeah,
we're not math majors by any means. But another thing that happened this week is the Spider-Man trailer came out a couple days ago, and this is the most excited I've been for a Marvel movie, maybe ever. Yeah, and I'm not even a Spider-Man person.
Yeah, because I think we were never really that excited for the Avengers. We knew they were going to be good movies, but we weren't buzzing for it.
I wasn't waiting for it. I'm waiting for this movie. I don't know why.
This feels different.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the idea that we're going to get Maguire and Garfield back.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this. I don't understand the narrative of why didn't they show them in the trailer? Why do you want to see them in the trailer? It gives it away. That's
Although they're in, that one scene where Tom Holland's going up against Sandman, the Lizard, and what's his name? Jamie Foxx.
Electro.
In the Brazilian trailer, that's when you know I did research for this. In the Brazilian trailer, it shows the Lizard kind of go like this, like he got hit in the face, but there's nothing there.
So
it's edited out.
Yeah.
So, but it's probably Andrew Garfield because
one of the boys.
Yeah.
And
then there's the obvious ones like when he
Doc
Ock
gives him out of his body. Oh,
the dude with the
where he's like, "Hello, Peter."
Yeah, and then he's like, "You're not Peter Parker."
Yeah, you're not Peter Parker. Oh, Peter Parker's coming.
Yeah, it's just obvious things like that where they're gonna make an appearance.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. You can't bring back all those people and then not bring back the 2, prime guys that everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
But I got a theory. Another one. Obviously, there's the Mephisto one, the Hell Freezing.
I actually think that one's real. Because I watched a breakdown video, and he was talking about Mephisto, too.
It just makes sense because they're bringing back so many villains that I feel like it's going to distract you from the main villain. Because there's got to be one main guy.
And Scooby-Doo.
What? I was going to go with it. I don't know what you're talking about.
And when Doctor Strange was like, Scooby-Doo this crap.
Oh, yeah.
But he's the villain.
Yeah. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for... Dude, oh my God. They got to do that. That'd be awesome. Okay, but back to my theory, though. How it shows MJ falling and Tom's going to grab her?
Yeah.
We saw that in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone. And she died.
Yeah.
I think MJ's going to die.
Really?
I do. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to happen.
They're going to kill Zendaya? No way.
I think they will. Because I think at the end of the day, he's going to get the dub in this movie. I think they're going to get the dub. He's going to get his boys, and he's going to be like, he's got some new friends, and everything's good. But I think he's going to lose the thing he loves most. And I think it also is foreshadowed in the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie, when that elevator scene where I think the girl's Gwen. I don't know if that's her name or not, but it was a girl he was crushing on at the time. It was a daughter of the villain. He was able to save her by grabbing her and pulling her up. I think that kind of foreshadows that he's not going to be able to do it at the time when it really, really matters.
But I think the reason they showed that in the trailer, though, is because people are going to think, oh, that happened in the Andrew Garfield one, but it's going to change this time. What I was saying before we started recording was that instead of Tom Holland saving MJ, it's going to be Andrew Garfield.
Dude, I would like that because it'd be his redemption moment.
Yeah. But he's not going to let another Peter Parker loses.
Dude, that'd be cool because if they brought back Toby, and then because a lot of people talk about, oh, maybe Andrew's in it, or Andrew's not in it, but Toby will be. Maybe Toby comes back and you don't see Andrew, and then that's the moment he comes in and he saves the day. And then they fall in love, and then they beef, and then the next movie is Andrew versus Tom. I want to see, dude, triple threat between the three of them. Screw it.
You put them in a ring.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah. And then, wait, is Venom going to be there too? Like, there's this whole thing there. There's so much. I think that's the excitement grows because there's just so much opportunity with this movie.
Wasn't the end scene of Venom? I didn't see Venom, but I heard about the end scene. Wasn't it Spider-Man was on the
he was in he was in a hotel, and there was the screen was glitching out, and then it showed Spider-Man being revealed, and then I think Venom licked the screen or something. It was weird. But nevertheless, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It's bringing a lot of universes together. It'll be cool.
The one thing I will say is I think they gave it away in the trailer, kind of, because the first trailer, one of the big things was that, oh my God, everyone's gonna forget I'm Spider-Man. I need MJ to know. I need my friend to know. I need my aunt to know. They're all gonna forget. But then in the second trailer, they're all with him the second time he's there. So it's clearly they all know. So that I didn't like. But aside from that, this movie's going to be nuts. I'm not even a huge Spider-Man guy.
I'm not either. Honestly, not going to lie, don't like Spider-Man at all.
I'm not huge on it, but a lot of our close friends love him.
Yeah.
Love him. So I guess we can't talk too much trash if we're there and we don't like it because they're going to be pissed. But
no, I think I'm going to like it. I don't dislike the movies. Spider-Man 2 is great. The one with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Dude, even Spider-Man 3, the one with Venom, Sandman, and they shouldn't have put Venom in that movie, but it was still a great movie.
I think they should have kept Sandman out. I think they should have had Harry turn into Venom instead of Eddie Brock.
Dude, that would have been sick. I think the problem is because it was Sandman and Harry, and then they added Venom after, which made it too much. So I thought they should have just done the third one because the Sandman story was awesome of him doing it for his daughter, and then the fourth one could have been Venom, but.
If they weren't going to do a fourth, I like the idea of having Harry be Venom.
Even
though that goes against the comics, who cares?
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, it's a better storyline.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to wrap up. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and we'll see y'all next week. Take it easy.
Stay well.
Peace.